Hello everybody, welcome back to our HTML and CSS tutorial. In the previous episode, we have discussed how to create a navigation bar in HTML, and in today's episode, we are going to learn how to add tables inside a website. And this will be the table we are going to be creating for today's episode. First of all, we'll start by creating a table tag like this, and let's give a class to our table tag. And let's call the class of this table tag something like styled table, like this. And let's come down and create a table header like this, and let's come down again and create a table row like this. And we need heads, table heads for th like this. For our table rows, let's start by something like name. And let's just copy what we did here with Ctrl C, and let's paste it down a couple more times like this. And let's just change here to something like email, and this one to, let's say, row. And now we are done with the table header. Let's come down and started doing the table body like this, T body like this. And let's come down and create a table row for our table body, our first table row. Let's add table data, or let's say data cells, with TD like this. And since the first one is name, we will start with a name. Let me use my name, for example, Ismaeel Abubakar. And you can use your name if you want. And for the next one, let's just copy what we did here just to make it easy, and paste it down and paste it down again. We just need to change this name to something like, since it's email, let's just see my email. I'm just using a random email, Ismaeel at, let's just say at example.com. At example.com, since this is just an example. For this one, since it is row, let's just say admin like this. And now we can create as many table row as we wanted, because now if we are to go back inside our browser, but first let's save it with Ctrl S. If we are to go back inside our browser, let's just remove this one and let's refresh. As you can see, we already have our table name, email, row, and my name is there, example, and my row as admin, but the table is not styled, so we just need to add more table content. For example, we can just copy what we did here with Ctrl C. Let's just copy everything right here with Ctrl C. Let's come down, paste it one. This is 2, 3, 4. Maybe 4 times is okay, because we're just using this as an example. And for the name right here, let's change it to something else. I'm just using randoms names. You can use whatever name you want. Let me go with Charles Babbage like this, as in the founder of computer, Charles Babbage. And for the email, let's go with Charles at example.com. And for his row, let's just make it user like this. Or let's just capitalize this U with user like this. And for the next one, I'm just using random names. You can use whatever name you want. The next one, let's use something like Liu Kabir like this. And for the email, let's just see Aliyu at example.com. He's not an admin. Let's also make it user like this. And for this one, let's remove this name, and maybe we should just add something like Jane Smith like this. Or let's capitalize this S with Smith, and for the email let's just say jane@example.com, and let's also make this one user, like this. And let's just give our last example with this one, and let's use something like John Doe, for example, like this. And let's make it john@example.com. Let's also make it user, like this. And now let's just save it with Ctrl S, go back inside our browser and refresh. As you can see, all the names we have added are displaying, so we just need to style it now. I think zoom in a little bit. Let me just reset the font size of my browser like this. Yes, it will be better. Now you can see everything clearly. And now the next thing is the styling part. So let's go back inside our text editor and style it. Now let's go to our CSS file, and as usual, even now I'm starting with styling the body tag like this. And the only thing I need to change for the body is the font family. Let's give it Arial, just like the one we used in the previous episode. And let's remove margin, let's make it 0, and for the padding let's also make it 0, like this. And let's just come down and start styling our styled table. The class styled table we create is the styled table, like this. The first thing we need to add is width. Let's change the width to something about, let's give it like 80% of our browser width. And the next thing is the border collapsed. And for the border collapse, let's make it collapsed. And the next thing is our margin, like this. And for the margin, let's give it 50 pixels for the top and bottom, and for the left and right, let's make it auto so that it should be in the middle, like this. And the next thing should be let's target the th tag inside our style table, th tag. And I'm not only targeting this one, so let's also target our table data, td, like this. And what I did right here is that I have targeted our style table. Inside our style table, I have targeted our table head, and our table data. This, I have targeted this and this. That's just what I did. So for them, what they need, first of all, let's go with the border, like this. And let's give them a 1 pixel solid border, solid, like this. And let's give them let's give it a color of something like this, just something white, but not pure white as usual. And for the padding, let's give it some padding of maybe like 8 pixels so that it will be close to the border. And let's text align it. Text align, let's make it left instead of using center as always, since this one is a table. We need it to be in the left of the table. And the next thing we need to do is to also style our table headers to differentiate the styling, because now if we were to save it, go back inside our browser, if we were to refresh, as you can see, they are all white. All the content is in white. And this one being the table header, this row, we need to be something maybe dark. So we are going to style it now. That's what we're going to be doing. And we will target the style table again. And inside the style table, we will target this th tag, like this, and let's just change its background color to something, maybe something dark like this. And let's also give it a color. Since we have changed it to dark, we need its text to be white, something like white. Let's go with FFF pure white, like this. And if we were to save it now, go back inside our browser and refresh, as you can see, it has changed and it is making more sense now. So, and the next thing we need, maybe let's just use an nth child pseudo class selector like this. Let's target it with the style table class, and let's style our t body like this. And under our t body, we need to go under our table rows tr like this, and let's select it with a nth child class pseudo, and instead of odd, let's go with even like this. And what this does is that it will help us change. Let me show you what it means, but first let's change the background color to something like this. Let's go with F9 like this, and let's save it just for reference. Let me show you what it means. As you can see now, everything apart from this one is just pure white like this. But since I added my nth pseudo class selector, if I'm to refresh now, all the ones that are even, that is, this one is an odd one, number 1 is odd, but the number 2 has picked the background color I just added right now, and the table will make more sense like this instead of just leaving it pure white. And now the only thing I think we need to add, maybe it's just, let's add a hover for our table rows, so that when we hover around them, it will show us on which table we are in. Let's also target it with this style table class. Let's use the t body like this, and we are targeting our tr. We are styling its hover. Let's go and change the background color of our hover to something like, let's go with F2 like this. Let's go with F2. Control S. If we are to save it, go back inside our browser now, refresh. As you can see, when we hover around it, it's showing something a little bit dark like this, and I think it makes more sense like this. So this is our table, and this will be the end of today's lesson. I hope you guys enjoy. See you in the next one.